You're watching Real Investments. We were just talking to my good friend Pat Zangari. I'm still blown away. I can't believe it. He has 12 condos. He's a lot more than that, but 12 condos in the city, and he's making $3,000 a month minimum on those. Basically, his cash flow alone is between $150,000 to $200,000 a year, just by being the everyday but prudent and shrewd investor. Right now, we've got my good friend Anil Walia. I call him Uncle. He's of East Indian descent, and this is going to also rock your world. In a period of 2 years, he's acquired, when I last talked to him, I think it's more now, over 25 different properties, and not right here in his own backyard, but actually in a different country. Anil, Uncle G, it's always great to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
You look so, whenever I come, I make sure that I have my blazer on because you're always walking so, you know, so handsome. And this is kind of the culture back home, you know, coming from Punjab, always well to dress. I mean, even if we're cutting the lawn, we look like we're,
yeah,
you know,
we are generally overdressed.
Not overdressed, but it's just very, very cool style. Anil, you know, let's talk a little bit about how this came to fruition. But basically, I want to share with the viewers at home. You have acquired how many properties now in a very small niche, almost even in the same little neighborhood, in what we call Kissimmee or
yeah,
Florida?
Orlando and Kissimmee, yeah.
Orlando and Kissimmee, and Orlando and Kissimmee is just a few minutes difference?
Yeah, they are like Toronto and Brampton.
Like Toronto and Brampton?
Yeah.
And so you did a couple years of research.
That's true.
You spent about $20,000 doing this research over a 2-year period to research anywhere in North America where you would get the best return on your investment with pretty much doing the least amount of work.
Absolutely.
And so you landed there. And so far to date, and we'll go through the numbers for the viewers at home, but to date, you've acquired how many properties?
I have 27 properties which are closed, and 28th property is going to close on 7th October.
On October 7th?
October 7th.
So you're still buying?
I'm still buying.
So you have 26 properties that you already own?
27.
27,
yeah.
And 28 is coming. You have one more that's closing in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to learn how to do this. So I want the viewers to learn how to do this. So basically, you studied for 2 years. They don't have to study anymore because I always say, you know, a really foolish person does not learn from their mistakes. A smart person learns from their mistakes. But a brilliant person can learn from Anil's mistakes.
Absolutely.
And so now we have the opportunity, make sure you get your paper and pen out, for the viewers at home to learn. You took 2 years, spent $20,000 to research these different properties. Your backgrounding is in what, engineering, or what's your background?
I'm an engineer, electronic engineer.
You're an electronic engineer.
And a naval commander.
And a naval commander, Colonel Walia.
Yeah.
And so then, Commander Walia. And then, so then you took the next 2 years, because it's only been a couple of years to acquire these properties. So you from 2014, 2012 is when you really started to aggressively buy properties?
That's true.
So in 2 years, we are now at almost 28 properties.
Yeah.
And how much money did you start? What was our starting capital to begin this process?
You see, starting capital was I took a HELOC line of credit.
A home equity line of credit?
Home equity line of credit on my house.
Okay.
Which was around $400,000.
$400,000. So
$400,000.
The HELOC was $400,000?
HELOC was $400,000, but I started off modestly because I wanted to wet feet. I am a salaried person for 30 years. I was on salary. I was living bank, you know, month to month.
Month to month, paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck, and I used to be very, you know, scared if first of the month money doesn't come in the bank. How are we going to run the, you know, whole month? So that took me a lot of time to come out of the cage and you know, start investing. So when I invested again, I was very apprehensive. I wanted to wet feet, so I started off with 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah.
But total to date, you've used all the 400?
I've used all the 400.
Okay, so basic, because there's a lot of people watching at home that they don't have money, but they do have money. It's sitting in the principal residence.
Absolutely.
So you had no properties, but you had your home that you were over time paying mortgage on.
Absolutely.
And so then it eventually, you were able to take out of that a cumulative $400,000.
Yeah.
But you started very slowly with $100,000.
With 100,000.
Okay. And this is over 2 years now, you have 27 properties.
Yeah,
so let's talk about these properties. What kind of property, because I know you have a very systematic approach. You're not just buying anything.
No.
What kind of properties do you like and why? Teach us why they're in demand.
Yeah, you see, firstly, it's about 2.9 years now, because January 2012 I started, so...
Okay, close to 3 years.
Yeah, close to 3 years.
Okay.
So when I underwent a lot of training, so I realized single family homes are the best product, and 3-bedroom, 2-washroom houses from 1100 to 2200 square feet are the houses which will always remain in demand.
Okay, so say it again. The houses that are always going to remain in demand, especially in this part of Florida, and I want to ask you why there, is the 3-bedroom, 2-washroom.
Absolutely.
Detached.
Detached
homes.
Detached homes.
And today these homes you can still find for about how much?
You see, you can find these homes from $70,000 right up to $200,000.
$70,000 to $200,000 is what I can buy a home for in Kissimmee area.
Yep.
3-bedroom, 2-washroom, detached. Why did you choose? Because I know you looked at Atlanta, you look at Detroit, you look in Toronto, you look at Vancouver, you looked all over Phoenix, you looked all over North America. What made us land on the city of Orlando, the city of Kissimmee? What was it there that you felt was the best return on investment?
You see, one is Florida, as it is a sun state. So there is a lot of immigration into Florida. A lot of baby boomers within Canada, within US retiring, moving to that side. A lot of people retire from Canada and go there. And all over the world, people come to Florida.
So anywhere in North America or even the world, people want to go to Florida. And they want to go to Disney World.
They want to go to Orlando. In fact, even in India, if you ask somebody Orlando, he will know. But if you ask somebody Atlanta, some city, they don't know.
Yeah.
So this is a celebrity city, and there is a lot of tourists who visit this area. About $59 million tourists visited last year, whereas in New York only 51 million people visited, and in Las Vegas 41.
Wow. So 41 million people went to Vegas, 51 million people went to New York,
and 59 came to Orlando.
I don't know if those numbers impress me as much as the fact that, Anil, you know this.
Yeah.
No. But the very fact you know this, I want to invest with you.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this is fantastic. So that's why we chose there, because there's a great demand.
Great demand.
Then we look at the 3-bedroom plus 2, because nobody in Florida wants to be in a condo per se. They want, if they're going to live there or rent there for a few years, that's where they want to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're looking at anywhere from $70,000 to $200,000. So let's look at, in the States, how much money do we need to put down, if not 100%, to buy these properties? How much money will the bank give me? So let's take your 28th property that's closing. What was the purchase price on that property?
The 28th property is the 27th property I acquired at $70,000.
$70,000.
$70,000.
And when did you buy that one?
It closed on 29 July.
This year?
This year.
A couple months ago?
Yeah.
So you just bought a property. Okay, so here's where we get the paper and pen out. So you just bought a property for $70,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and so of that $70,000 today, you're teaching me, your nephew, Ravi, you're teaching me, Rav, you can do the same thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Do I need to come up with $70,000, or will the bank lend me a little bit?
Actually, it is better being Canadian to pay full down in cash. Yeah.
I don't mind, because if I was going to buy a $400,000 property, I need $80,000 plus closing costs.
Plus closing costs.
So, because I need in Canada 20% down to buy an investment property, you're saying, Rav, it's the same thing. Go ahead and buy this property for $70K.
$70K.
Now, Anil, to buy this property for $70K, does it need a little bit of lipstick? Does it need a little perfume on it?
Yeah, this house I spent about $9,000.
How much?
$9,000.
90?
9,000.
9. That's it.
That's it.
$9,000.
And this house has a swimming pool, beautiful swimming pool.
Stop it. You don't stop it.
Yeah, and there was no major repairs. It was all
so
cosmetic.
you put cosmetic on it for, let's call it $10,000.
$10,000.
Okay, so now you bought this property. Now that is something that you and I would live in.
Yeah.
How many square feet?
This is 1,600 something.
1,600 square feet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to live in a 1,600 square feet in Orlando.
With a swimming pool.
With a swimming pool, and I'm all in for $80,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is.
So I put all new appliances.
All new appliances.
Paint from inside, outside.
Okay, painted it, a little bit of curb appeal.
Swimming pool brought to current standards.
Okay. And so how much are we going to rent this for now?
$10.50. It's already rented. It got rented in 15 days time.
Okay, so $10.50.
Yeah.
So, Anil, this property, because I know that's why you bought a lot of these ones. You're banking on the inflation. But even if we don't bank on the inflation, let's not bank on the inflation. What is a very conservative rate of inflation that we can give this property for $70,000 or $80,000? How much will it go up?
You see, this properties as it is, if I get it appraised, it will be more than 120. But even if you put it on a conservative, it will be 110.
110.
Appraised value as on today. If I go to a bank, they'll give me loan against 110.
But you just bought it in July.
Because I bought it on below market value, I have developed an expertise to locate properties which are below market value.
So you bought this property for $70,000. You put in less than 10.
Yeah.
And a month or two later, it's going to be worth 120.
Yeah. Even appraised value of this house is $90,000 on the county record.
On the county record?
On the county record, it's 90,000, and county records are always about 10% below the market value.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm all in. So of this 1050, how much is my net once I've paid property taxes?
Yeah.
And anything else to pay?
Yeah, you pay property taxes, insurance, HOA, and property management fees and all that. All that put together comes to around $4,000 a year.
$4,000 a year, so about what, $330 a month? Because I'm really trying to take away from the 1050.
Yeah.
So monthly, how much is my expenses?
Yeah, about $350.
About $350, and I'm in here for $1050, so I'm making $700 a month cash flow.
Yeah.
And I'm only bought it for $70,000.
Yeah.
So I'm making 10% on my money, just cash flow.
More than 10%.
So remember the three ways you make money with a property: how much it goes up, how much you pay down on the mortgage, and what's the cash flow on the side. Well, there is no mortgage because it's paid for. I can't believe how much has gone up, and we'll talk about that in a second. But just the cash flow, you're saying you're making 10% of the money.
Absolutely, more than 10%. You see, I used to put my money. How I got this idea? I used to give my money on rent in Canada.
Yeah.
For 12%, 11%.
Used to be a private lender.
Private lender.
In mortgages.
In mortgages. When I found that you are getting 11% cash flow in US, plus the sweat equity plus appreciation, it's more than 25%.
So, but a lot of people are watching the show and they're saying, man, Anil must be in Florida every week.
No, I haven't gone for last 1 year.
For the last year?
For last 1 year.
So you actually buy properties and fix them up without even leaving Toronto?
Yeah, all in remote control from Toronto.
So you have all your systems in place, you found the right people, and this is what's happening there?
Yeah, I have developed a very good power team. In which consists of a real estate agent,
property manager,
a
contractor,
a handyman, a contractor, a inspector, a mortgage broker, who gets me the financing.
So you are not just a pretty face. You are a very smart man. I mean, this is phenomenal. We're going to take a break here in a second. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more of the nitty-gritties of how you're making money in the U.S. We're talking to my good friend Anil Walia. You don't want to go anywhere. It's been a great show so far. Stay tuned. Real Investments continues in a moment. Thanks for watching. Whenever you invest in real estate, your goal is to put money to work today and make it grow. You have to make enough profit or return to cover the risk you take. Taxes and that's exactly, Anil, what you did. You contacted somebody like Carmen, you took the $400,000 out.
Absolutely.
And so this whole portfolio now of 27 properties plus one closing in just a few weeks, what is this worth? We know you're making 10% on this in terms of your money. So you're basically making about, I think you told me at the break, the average rental on average is about $600-700 a month.
Yeah.
And you've got 27 properties, so you're making about $160,000 you've created for yourself just in over a couple of years.
Yeah.
But that's not even the most important part.
Yeah.
The most important part is the average purchase price of these properties on average was about what, $100,000?
Yeah, average was around $100,000.
So $100,000 times 27 is $2.7 million.
Yeah.
But these properties today are not worth $2.7 million.
No, the properties are worth around 4.5 million.
4.5 million.
4.5 million.
So you've almost doubled your money in 2 years, and just for fun, you're making $160,000 a year cash flow.
That's true. Actually, the average price was 100,000, but there was some property which are 150, 140, 130. So the total acquisition may be around 300,000 or 3 million. But the appreciation, you see, the biggest part in this is the appreciation.
Yeah.
cash flow is only 10%. The appreciation had been 25%
And that's
a year.
why you did it.
That is what I did.
25% per year.
25%
So if you buy
per
something
year.
for $100,000, in 1 year it was worth 125.
Absolutely. And next year it became 150.
Yeah, because people are saying to themselves, well, I can lend my money out in mortgages, which you did,
Yeah.
for 10%,
Absolutely.
12%.
Yeah.
But you're saying, well, instead of lending my money out 12%, why wouldn't I make 10% cash flow, but then bank, because Florida's on sale, is what you said to yourself, and obviously to you it still is because you just bought another property, so bank on the inflation of the property.
Absolutely.
And so for those of you that are watching the show, and you're very smart, I know you are, it's, you know, and Neil still only started and has only used still $400,000. So he's taken $400,000 and he's made it, it's worth now $4.5 million in 2 years. Now, what I want to say on that is, because the money that you received from the cash flow, and also because it went up in value, you went to the American banks and you pulled out, and then you reinvested the money. So it's not like $400,000 turns into $4.5 million in 2 years, but it still was only $400,000 out of your own home.
Absolutely.
That you paid interest only on.
Absolutely.
And then you took money out, you took the cash flow, it's kind of like a stock, you took the dividend and you reinvested it.
Yeah. During the process, I changed from 400,000 line of credit to 520 mortgage. So I pulled out 120 more from the house.
From the houses, yeah.
From the house.
Yeah.
And you know, I have developed an expertise on two fronts. One is to buy property below market value.
Yes.
Other is to generate refinance.
To refinance. So you, because in Canada, I know a lot of
yeah.
people are having a hard time pulling money out of American
Yeah,
properties.
yeah.
So you've niched out and you've learned with your studious approach how to buy property undervalued. So we're already making a profit. Just like Pat, you know, my guest on the show earlier with the condos, you figure out how to buy property that if you sold it the next day, you already win.
Yeah.
And then secondly, though, you've learned how to, in America, because in Canada it's easy, but in America you've learned how to pull money out based on the equity that's already in there.
Absolutely.
So you're into these properties almost with no money in.
Yeah. You see, my expertise is only on two fronts. Once I generate money, finance, and identify a property, balance job is done by my power team.
By your power team that you've created. So Anil, I know you've gotten into this of late because so many people have been coming to you. You've been on my show once before, but so many people are coming to you and asking you what you do, and you tell them, you know, you own almost 30 properties in Florida, and these are the kinds of returns that you're making. You do a little bit of consultation, you do a little bit of, you help people to be able to do the same thing. So if I wanted to be able to do this, I know your name, numbers on the emails on the screen there, you help people to do this now?
Yeah, yes. In fact, I have started mentoring people. There are a few mentorships I have already through.
Okay,
so I mentor people. There are some people who just want to learn the tricks and then want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Some people want me to hold their hand and use my power team.
What about joint venturing? What happens if I say, Anil, I don't want to do anything, but I've got a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Can I give you a couple $100,000 and you do joint venturing, you partnership as well?
Yeah, I'm open to joint
ventures as well. No, this is phenomenal. I mean, the returns are just amazing in terms of what you're doing. What's next for you? Are you just going to keep, when you buy properties that you can buy, and is it still going to be in Orlando, Kissimmee? I mean, is there still money to be made, or now are you even looking at other areas in the States?
No, I'm looking at other areas as well. But since I have a power team, I know the area well, and you know, I'm fairly, you know, deep into the market.
And I find that amazing that you haven't been in there in the last 12 months.
Yeah. No, I went to Orlando only 3 times.
3 times?
Only 3 times. And all my 27 properties I bought without seeing.
Stop it.
All on internet.
I think your accent is not making me hear you right.
Yeah.
You're saying to me you've only been there 3 times.
3 times.
And all the properties, all 28 properties that you've acquired, you've never seen.
I had never seen before buying.
Before buying?
Yeah. And some I acquired almost, I am acquiring 1 property a month. So maybe last 12 properties I haven't seen. Even after they are on rent, I haven't seen. Whenever I go next time, I'll have a look at them.
You're amazing. And how many different property managers are managing these? It's not 27 different property managers.
Yeah.
How many different property managers have your whole asset basket, watching for you?
You see, it's only one property manager. You see, it's very... One property manager.
Oh, so one property manager is taking care of all 27 properties?
All 27 properties.
Wow.
You see, it looks a little scary to buy properties sitting here.
Yeah.
But actually, once you acquire the knowledge, once you know the systems, it's fairly easy. You know, what I do is, the moment I identify a property, I send my real estate agent to have a look at it. So he sends me the video, the pictures.
So how do you identify? Just going on the MLS?
No, there are so many websites.
Okay. That's all part of the learning when we come and sit at your feet, and that's how we learn this.
Yeah.
So there's different websites that people put up there, and that's how you can acquire property. So
There
once you acquire a property, you call one of your 2-3 realtors?
Yeah. Only one realtor.
One realtor?
Yeah. Now I have identified one. Earlier I had 4-5, but now I'm...
There's one that you like?
Yeah. Last 25 properties, I worked with one realtor.
So one realtor,
Yeah.
one property manager, no lender necessarily to start because we're buying cash.
Yeah.
We have one lender there, though, when we refinance?
No, so many lenders.
You have different lenders there when we refinance?
Yeah.
One handyman?
One handyman.
Wow. So this is, I could be sitting on the beach all day long and just making 3 or 4 calls tops to just say, how's my portfolio going?
Absolutely.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
No, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
And so what other areas in America are you looking at right now, and what do you like about those areas?
You see, I have fancy for land banking.
Land banking. So that's just a fancy way of saying buying land and sitting on it.
Yeah, buying. So because you see, the US market has taken a turn for the positive. So a lot of builders have now come into the market, which shows that the market is going to have a good run, for a couple of years.
Okay.
And because builders are building, so the land is becoming premier. So I intend, I'm already exploring possibilities to...
So Anil, where does your lawyer reside? Does your lawyer reside in Canada or in the US?
Actually, in US, you don't need a lawyer. In US, there are title companies.
Okay. So it's all held in escrow, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, and where is your accountant, your personal accountant for this? Is it Canada or America?
No, I have one accountant in Canada, one in US.
And one in US.
Yeah.
And so are you buying these properties in a personal name, or are you buying these properties in incorporation?
I have a couple of them in personal name, couple of them in the entities.
That only makes 4.
No, okay.
So you may have a couple personal, and the rest is in your different entities.
I have 12 in personal name and
the rest
in entities.
Okay, so
because I took some time in identifying what kind of structure I should have.
Yeah.
So because the market was so good, I didn't want to lose the opportunity. It was more important to make money rather than the structure. So I kept buying. After 1 year, I opened the entities. And
so what's the plan? What's Anil's exit strategy? I mean, it's already worth $4.5 million. You know, we know, and I hope you know by watching this show, he could sell these properties. Yes, it's making him $160,000. $4.5 million. Put it somewhere local in Canada and make 10% all day long, which you know, if you've been watching this show, that he can make 10% all day long by writing a check. So you could sell all these properties today. Take the $4.5 million, put it in a REIT, put it in private mortgages, put it in syndicate mortgages, put it in, these kinds of things that would give you $450,000 a year. You've got about 30 seconds before you can answer me. Is that what you're going to do, or are you going to keep buying?
No, you see, I think $4.5 million portfolio is going to rise by 10% in appreciation itself every year. So I'm going to get $450,000 in any case, without doing anything.
Plus your $160,000 to $200,000 a year in cash flow.
Yeah. So what I think is make hay while the sun shines. As long as that market is running, I'll stay in Florida.
I love you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, sir. Excellent.
Make hay when the sun shines, says Anil Walia. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back with my closing thoughts on this whole madness of making money right downtown Toronto or in the States.